going on, everybody? Welcome to Radiovania, episode number
56.5.
Your nerdy public radio for all things entertainment and pop culture. My name is Zach Rotello, at Zach Rotello on Twitter, at Zach Rotello on Instagram, and all the other social media platforms. And sitting across from me is, I was going to say some variation of Hungover, but none of it really, came out to fruition. Swan Song Parker. John Swan Song Parker sitting across from me.
Fortune and glory, kid.
Yeah.
Fortune and glory.
So last night, this whole weekend, I've been here in Cuyahoga Valley with John, hanging out. And last night we had some friends over, and we had a couple mint juleps, and we had a couple Kentucky mules after we had cooked maybe the best home-cooked meal I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, it's up there. It's a contender.
It's a contender. You could just be... You're a movie trailer.
Yeah.
John's talking like a movie trailer.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you've never listened to an episode of Radiovania before, the premise is very simple. What we're going to do is go through a bunch of news and pop culture and video games and television and movies, and we're going to talk about everything that we have missed since our last episode, which I believe was February. So we pretty much have the whole month of February and the beginning of March to talk about, and boy, has there been some zingers.
Yeah.
It's a pretty packed sort of month. We missed
It's
a couple movies. Yeah.
Filled a couple of months.
Yeah, and we're here to discuss all of that with you. So buckle your seatbelts in. If you enjoy listening to us, give us a rating there on iTunes. Maybe, subscribe to the YouTube channel at radiovania.com. That helps us push ads and help us make money so that maybe we can up the production value of this show. Also, go listen to The More You Know. We have 5 episodes officially published now. You can hear the first 5 episodes of John talking about Batman, the animated series, and they're awesome. If you enjoy Batman at all, if you enjoy anything in the animated department, I think you'll get a kick out of them. They're really well produced, and the applause to that goes to John.
Oh, thank you very much.
So
I keep saying that more will be coming soon, but to be completely transparent, I haven't worked on another one in months.
And I mean, I still haven't worked on anything.
I've just been very busy, but I do hope to, one day continue that, because I did have a lot of fun doing those first 5. Because it's cool. I watch the episodes and come up with notes and stuff like that. I think I'm going to change the format a little bit.
Okay.
And possibly the title and revamp it. But to be able to be like more of like, have a little bit more of a synopsis at the beginning. Because for some of them, I'm just like banking on the fact that you just watched it. Whereas like I think it'd be more beneficial to give us a quick synopsis of what happens in the episode before I do my discussion.
Cool. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
But we'll be looking forward to seeing more of that.
Saying The More You Know, Batman the Animated Series is like a hefty title. Yeah. So I want to come up with something maybe a little catchier or something. Okay. Like, I don't know, like Utility Belt or something like that. I don't know, something.
Utility Belt.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Yeah, we'll workshop. But, so of the things that we missed, the last time we did an episode was February.
Beginning of February. Right before Black Panther.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up the date on that guy.
Yeah.
But while I'm pulling that up, give me your February. What's been going on with you in the past month? What have you been watching? What have you read? What have you played? What's going on with you in the world of pop culture, John?
I've replayed all 3 of the Batman Arkham games.
February 5th was the last time we posted an episode, and that was an After Dark.
Yeah, the Rocksteady Batman games. So, Arkham, Asylum, City, and Knight. Very strong. I played the DLC. I bought the season pass for Arkham Knight. Played all the side missions. There's a Mr. Freeze side mission that they add to it. That might be the best closure to the Mr. Freeze story arc I think I've ever seen. Like, continuing the Paul Dini one that he started in the animated series. It's really critically acclaimed and an Emmy winner. So that was really fun. And I've just been playing Uncharted again. But in terms of reading and watching, kind of same old, staying caught up on the comics that we'll get into a little later on. Stuff like that. Yeah, went and saw Black Panther.
Yeah. We'll talk about Black Panther, because I saw that.
Yeah.
I also checked out a few more Oscar movies around the season, but right before the awards. I was trying to make an effort to watch a couple of them. And I saw Darkest Hour with Gary Oldman, which
how was it?
It was really good. Really phenomenal.
Is he well deserved?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I still haven't seen the other movies that were nominated for Best Actor, and I've heard that the fan favorite is the teen actor from Call Me by Your Name,
Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah. So I can't speak to his performance yet, but I'm really excited to see that. Saw Darkest Hour, saw Annihilation, the new Natalie Portman sci-fi flick from the guy that did Ex Machina. I did see that.
What did you think?
So here's my synopsis.
Okay.
No spoilers, obviously. If you can see this movie in a theater, you should. I don't think it would necessarily be the same impact on watching it at home. It's very unique. The guy that I forget the director's name, but he did Ex Machina. Have you seen Ex Machina? Okay, that's another movie that you would really like.
Yeah, I've heard.
He's got a really interesting style, and there are some acting performances in Annihilation that I thought were rough around the edges, not fleshed out really at all. Natalie Portman is killer, and she carries every scene. Oscar Isaac's great. His role is very small, but the scenes he's in, he totally steals the thunder. I mean, he's great, and their dynamic together is really cool, too.
Tessa Thompson's in it, too? Nice.
Yeah.
It's Alex Garland.
Alex Garland, yeah, thank you. Tessa Thompson was one of the people that her performance I was not thrilled with.
That's okay.
But I don't think I've seen a visually striking movie like that since Arrival, maybe.
Arrival is so good.
Arrival is so good, and this has many parallels. I mean, like, it's very similar. It's, badass female lead. You have this force that you're trying to understand. There's a bit of drama woven in there, too, and unexplained science.
Yeah.
But the way that Annihilation handles its turn, because there is a certain point in the movie where you realize that it's like the aha moment, and things change rapidly, and I could have done with like 25 more minutes of the ending. Like, I think they went in a really cool direction and maybe closed it off a little too fast. Like, they opened the door and said, hey, look inside here. Isn't this cool? Oh, we got to shut it now. But I would really be interested to see what you thought about it. It was very cool. I'd give it like a, I don't know, low 8.
Okay.
Low 8, maybe a high 7, depending on my mood.
Nice.
But still cool.
Yeah, I would like to check it out. There's been a lot of really good, I don't want to say under the radar because I think it's a disservice, but like not big box office driving really good sci-fi movies the past couple years,
Sure.
with Blade Runner 2049, apparently Annihilation's worth the time, Arrival, stuff like that, Ex Machina. So, yeah, I'll be definitely down to check it out.
You should watch
You
Ex
heard that
Machina.
it's like going like to Netflix directly, right?
Well, so that kind of got construed a little bit.
Yeah.
Or misconstrued, sorry. Netflix bought the international distributing rights.
Oh, that's what it is.
So I don't know if it's going directly to Netflix in the U.S. right after its theater release, but it's not coming to theaters anywhere else in the world but the U.S. because they didn't think it would sell. So the distribution rights is
Covering
just digital.
losses.
Yeah. So, yeah. And it is a movie that it's not everyone's cup of tea. I mean, it's hard sci-fi. It's very hard sci-fi with very little like action. It's a lot of just walking and talking.
Okay.
And I'm into that. I know not everybody is. But,
Yeah.
So while we're on the subject of movies, let's talk about the biggest one that happened during the release, and that's Black Panther.
The global phenomenon, #1 movie in the world. You have to preface it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I like the trailers where they do the CG text of all the the reviews. Yeah. Infinity War is going to be nuts for that.
Yeah, definitely.
But, so Black Panther came out to a thunderously loud group of moviegoers. People were hyped to see it.
As they should be.
And they're still seeing it.
It's a much-needed movie at a time.
Sure.
In the world that we live in.
Yeah, it's a very, and I'll get into this when I give my, my short review on the film, but the politics of the movie are the most interesting part of it to me. Like,
I like the world building. That's probably my favorite part of it.
Yeah.
I think seeing Wakanda was really cool, and just like the way that they were able, like, it's the same way the first time you see Asgard, you're like, holy shit, they made something that sounds goofy from a comic book like work, which is pretty cool. So yeah, I really enjoyed a lot of the side characters. I thought that the Princess Shuri was really good. Okoye, Everett Ross was awesome.
Yeah,
both of the villains with Killmonger and Claw were both really well.
Yeah, Ulysses Claw was awesome.
Yeah, he was great. I think Michael B. Jordan is a very driving villain. I felt at times hard to choose between who was morally correct. Is it, is it T'Challa or is it Eric?
Yeah.
The same way that, like, a good villain is always the flip side to his or her hero.
So this is as of 2 hours ago. From Forbes, it says Marvel's Black Panther has crossed the 1 billion worldwide mark. 9.9 million on its fourth Friday of release. Top box office for the fourth time in a row, and the third best fourth weekend gross ever behind The Force Awakens and Avatar. If you adjust for inflation, a $42 million weekend will be seventh on the list behind Jurassic Park, Spider-Man, the original, Force Awakens, Phantom Menace, Titanic, Avatar. It's all up there with the big guys. The film has now earned $530 million domestic, which means it passed Rogue One and The Dark Knight. The seventh biggest unadjusted domestic grosser of all time. Once it passes The Dark Knight, it'll also be the second biggest comic book superhero flick ever in North America, behind only
The Avengers.
Yeah. So the movie's making money. Lots of money.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Big time money. This is going to be a big old franchise.
I think it's hard to find somebody who hasn't seen it at this point.
Yeah.
I know they're out there, but it is very much a part of the community.
It's a pop culture phenomenon
at this
right
point,
now. So, so give me a short review.
I mean, I talked about the character stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's probably deserved of around like an 8 out of 10 if we're doing the 20 point, maybe an 8.5. Just because it serves as one of the better origin movies when you compare it to like a Iron Man 1 or a Thor or a Captain America First Avenger.
Sure.
We'll see where they go with the sequels, which are inevitable at this point.
Oh, there's going to be like 4, 5, 6 of these.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I think my favorite part, and this is a slight spoiler just to talk about like the concept of it, but
spoiler alert.
The parts when they go to the ancestral planes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Both T'Challa and Killmonger. Those are my favorite scenes.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Really good stuff right there.
Yeah.
It's a movie of really high highs, and then there are a couple pretty big lows for me. I thought that highs include the best villain in any of the Marvel movies.
Sure.
And I'll keep saying this.
Yeah.
I Loki is fun to watch, but in terms of being a villain, Loki is... I mean, he switched sides... He has, the good complex, and that's what makes him good. But Killmonger has such, like, fiery passion, and I've never really seen a Marvel villain with that level of swagger before. And if you dump Claw into the mix in terms of, like, the two... Because there's, like, two villains in the movie. That, like, sort of dynamic, the power dynamic, is awesome.
Yeah.
And I think he made the movie for me. I thought, in comparison, Michael B. Jordan's acting to Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
I felt like Boseman was being outshined quite a bit.
I think, honestly, Mark Bernardin from Fat Man on Batman talks a lot about this. He really enjoyed the movie, but he said that T'Challa, to him, was the least interesting character in that movie. Which
I can totally understand that.
I can kind of agree with that. Like, he's really cool.
He's cool.
He's kind of like how... This isn't... I think it's a very different thing, but like with Raiders of the Lost Ark... If you take Indy out of the movie still goes. Like, the Ark of the Covenant still moves. It could kind of be like that with Black Panther. Like, there's a large portion of the third act, spoilers, that you don't see Black Panther for a while, but you're still engrossed in the other characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's very stoic, and I think that, this is... I mean, it's the same thing with, like, Thor, where if you go back and watch Thor 1, which I have been doing, I've been rewatching all the Marvel movies. Because my Infinity War level hype is, like... through the roof. I can't wait for that movie.
Does it put a smile on your face?
It does.
Ding, 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 ding.
And by the way, we'll get to that prediction.
Sure.
Because I've got a prediction of how Infinity War ends, so stay on the line if you guys want to hear that.
We got a caller on the line. Hold on.
Another low for me was that the soundtrack wasn't used nearly enough. Kendrick's soundtrack was great when it was featured, but never used enough. And this is big spoiler, so if you haven't seen the movie, skip forward literally a minute. The death of Michael B. Jordan's character, Eric Killmonger, is a huge mistake.
Yeah.
They made a gigantic mistake by killing him. And people are saying, like, there's a lot of theories on Reddit floating around that are like, he's not actually dead, they can bring his spirit back, blah, 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 blah. The plane, the ancestral plane, it's like, whatever they decide to do, it's going to be, I'm sure it'll be fine. But I don't understand. The notes that I wrote down after I got out of the movie are here on my thing. I said, Killmonger is one of the best characters in a Marvel movie ever. Why wasn't he given at least 15 more minutes of screen time is baffling. How could DC go back and spend millions on reshoots for Suicide Squad and it still sucked, and Disney couldn't realize the power they had with Michael B. Jordan and go back and do more? Like, not that it's, like, it doesn't mar the movie, but I did leave disappointed that he died. Because I was like, I wanted to see him and T'Challa have, like, a 3-movie arc.
The same way that Thor and Loki have
exactly.
had.
And the fact that they killed him in a totally badass way. He goes out with one of the best lines in any of the Marvel movies, maybe one of the coolest quotes in film that I've seen in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And
but that would have been good in the third.
Yes, it would have been so much more impactful having that character be even more developed, because I would have loved to have seen I just wanted to see more.
Well, and if I can talk about another spoiler, is they also killed Claw.
Yeah.
So 2 of Black Panther's best villains from the comics are gone. So unless you're going to have him fight Prince Namor in the next one, which is probably going to happen, it's just a bummer. And, like, I agree with you. I think you could have really built something special if you made, Michael B. Jordan the Ben Solo to T'Challa's Rey. You know what I mean? Like, build that relationship between your hero and your villain over the course of 3 movies.
Yeah, I agree.
And you get really good character development and interactions. But, I mean, like, for the time he was given, I think we could both agree he's fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
From beginning to end.
I would say, like, I could agree. I could strongly say that I think it's the top 5 MCU performance.
Performance? Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's the best villain. I don't see how there's... I mean, like, it's like him, Tom Hiddleston are, like, neck and neck.
Yeah, I would say him, Tom Hiddleston, Robert Downey Jr. in the first Iron Man movie.
I like Captain America and the Winter Soldier. I think Chris Evans gives a really great performance as Cap.
Yeah,
in the second one.
That's a good one. I would also it's hard to because it's so comedy choppy, but I mean, I think there's, potential for a Guardian to be in there in the top 5, but
Keaton.
Yeah, maybe Michael Keaton in Spider-Man. He was the best part of that movie.
For sure.
Hands down. Yeah.
So, adjusted, as the movie's in Just for Inflation, I've adjusted my Marvel rankings.
Okay.
You ready to hear these?
Yes, I am.
So, getting hyped, and I want to do, before Infinity War comes out, I would love to do a show where we definitively rank them, get the list, and then so with each coming Marvel movie, we can fit it into our list and see where it ranks.
What we should do is, for that episode that we do, we should also do reviews for each of the movies. Like, I'll start to rewatch them again because, we've only done reviews on this show for the ones that have been out since 2015.
Yeah, going back and rewatching.
So it'd be cool to go back to 2008 and go through all of them and actually give, like, a grade for them. That way we can rank them statistically.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great idea.
Yeah, the Marvel Super Show. Anyway, what you got?
Zach ranks the Marvel MCU, 18 movies, 18 rankings. Ant-Man at number 18.
Okay.
Avengers 2, number 17.
You're not a big fan of that one?
Not really.
Yeah.
Not at all. I rewatched it this past week.
It's because of Vision.
I rewatched it this past week. It's not because of Vision.
It's because of Ultron.
No, it's because... A lot of that emotional weight hinges on the brother and sister. I didn't really find them to be very compelling.
You know who I dislike more than Vision is Quicksilver.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, he's so bad.
Yeah, he's terrible.
You did not see that coming.
Terrible accent. Yeah. Wait, they should have picked a no name.
Yeah, at least they kept the cooler one.
Yeah, I agree. Thor 2 at 16, The Dark World. 15, Iron Man 3. 14, Iron Man 2.
You like 2 better than 3. Interesting.
I told you, I've been going back and rewatching these, and Iron Man 2 is not as bad as I thought. It's definitely
I do not like
Whiplash. I like Whiplash is like funny.
I like the red herring of Ben Kingsley better than I like Whiplash.
That's a good point.
But this is
The Incredible Hulk is 13. Doctor Strange is 12. Underrated.
I think The Incredible Hulk is often looked over because of the changing in actors.
Norton, I like Norton quite a bit.
I thought he was really good.
Doctor Strange at 12. 11 is Black Panther. 10 is Homecoming. 9 Guardians 2. 8 Thor 1. 7 Captain America. 6 Captain America 2. 5 Captain America 3. 4 Iron Man. 3 Thor 3. 2 Guardians. Avengers still takes my number 1 spot.
You like that Avengers movie?
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
So there's my Marvel rankings.
Okay. I can't think off the top of my head. I would probably have Black Panther in the top 10, though, for me.
Cool.
But I'm also not as high on the Cap movies as you are, like all of them. So some of them, I think only Winter Soldier probably crack my top 10.
Not Civil War.
Maybe Civil War.
Maybe Civil War?
Maybe.
I think
Winter Soldier, definitely. I think Winter Soldier is probably my top 5.
I love Winter Soldier, man.
I also know that I have the Avengers a little bit lower. It's not that I don't enjoy it. It's a really good movie, and it was such a poignant phenomenon when it came out. However, I just really like centralized character stories, and I think the best ones are, Guardians,
sure,
Thor Ragnarok, Winter Soldier, the first Iron Man, stuff like that.
Cool. So let's move on to the next.
Excited about that Ant-Man and the Wasp?
No one cares.
Yeah, me neither.
Let's talk about the next big thing. The next, in my opinion, the biggest piece of news in terms of new films is this trailer for Solo.
Yeah.
A Star Wars story. And it's not a trailer. It's a teaser. And it would drop. There was a preview for it at the Super Bowl. And then they did the full trailer drop the next day. John, what did you think of Solo, A Star Wars Story?
I think that the teaser made me more excited. It doesn't settle all of my fears, particularly surrounding the titular character. However, it reaffirms my excitement for some of the supporting characters, such as Lando and Chewbacca and Woody Harrelson. I'm a big Woody fan, so I liked his parts in it. I think I've mentioned this before, but as long as this is kind of like a fun Ocean's 11 type rogue movie where there is no infringement upon the original Han Solo stuff, hopefully it turns out pretty good because it looks really cool. Yeah. It looks really fun.
The pros are obvious to me. The visuals are spectacular. And if they hold up that way for the entire movie, then good on them, because this looks beautiful. Yeah. I mean, the shots in this trailer alone look better to me than most of the stuff in Last Jedi did. I mean, I thought Last Jedi took a big hit because of its hinging on CG for a lot of the film.
They're in space.
They're in space for most of it.
And the rest of it's on Ireland.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so
Crate was the best part once you get to that. But
yeah.
That's a lot, mostly CG as well.
Yeah. So I'm liking that they have a lot of, destinations in this trailer.
Yeah.
It feels very Blade Runner-y. And
really?
I think so. I mean, this opening chase scene here, I got a serious Blade Runner Looper vibe.
You know what vibe I got from this is 2009 Star Trek.
Yeah, that's a good
with really cool Captain Kirk,
Chris Pine,
who's young. Yeah, that's what I got.
No, that's a good.
With a young Starship Enterprise and a younger revamped version of the characters that you know very well, stuff like that. That's the vibe that I kind of got.
The weirdness to me with this trailer is that there is no comedy. I mean, the comedy that is in there doesn't land.
We're fine.
Yeah, it's that joke sucks. And his deliverance on that joke sucks. And it's a really stupid way to end the trailer, in my opinion.
I think they're saving a lot of stuff.
It's just weird.
Yeah,
because we had two of the funniest directors, best directors for comedy in the film industry today make most of this movie. And there's no good comedy in... I was expecting one big good laugh from the trailer, to show Harrison, young Han Solo's sort of quick wit and charm or whatever, but we got that.
Yeah.
I was just very confused that they decided, because I would have loved to have seen... It's the same thing with Ant-Man, man. I mean, when this comes out, it's I would have loved to have seen Lord and Miller's cut of that movie, because I still stand by that I think this movie's not going to be great. I think it's going to be probably the worst reviewed new Star Wars movie. I think it's going to be...
In the 70s?
Huh?
Probably in like the 70s.
I'd say 70s, maybe even slips into the 60s. I just don't. But I mean, people are going to be able to blame it on a troubled, a troubled production
for sure.
So I'm just so curious to know how this is all going to shake out.
Yeah, well, only time will tell.
This is true.
Trust me when I say it's a pain in the as for the WB, just watch us and see we're better than anything we like.
Welcome back. This is Radiovania. You've been joining us now. We just got finished up with our Black Panther movie Han Solo talk, and now we're ready to jump into the news. John, are you ready to hit the major talking points?
Yes, sir, I am.
From The Hollywood Reporter, Avengers Infinity War release date has moved up 1 week to April. So it was early
4th.
May 4th.
May the 4th be with you.
Yeah. And now it's April 27th. Now there aren't stocked with other shit in May because that was going to be a jam-packed month. The Avengers, Han Solo, Deadpool, all in 1 month.
Yeah.
Now we have a little bit of breathing room, which I think is good.
I have two theories for this.
Okay.
One is originally the movie was going to drop internationally on the 27th of April anyway, and I think they're worried about spoilers leaking because it's going to be a very important movie to the point that they won't even reveal what Avengers 4 is titled until after this one comes out. So I think they're like, well, why don't we just move it up? Also, I think they're worried about its box office affecting their other Disney property movie,
for sure.
which is Solo, later on that month. Only 28-ish days, right?
Because this movie's going to stay number one at the box office for at least 4 weeks.
At least.
And Solo is not going to do the numbers that I think that
I think when Deadpool comes out, you'll see a little bit of a drop for the Avengers,
Sure.
but it'll hold it like number 2.
And talk about a movie I'm actually kind of starting to get a little bit worried about is Deadpool. I mean, I think it's going to be funny, but...
You don't like the Sheriff Deadpool
No,
trailer?
I like the Sheriff Deadpool trailer quite a bit.
Yeah,
and
I love the CGI arm thing. And
Yeah.
it's like, we're not trying to get rid of a mustache.
That's a genius joke.
That was a good
I'm
take.
really hoping that it's not a lightning in a bottle sort of scenario where it's like they just hit all the right notes of Deadpool 1 and maybe the second one's going to be...
I think it'll be very fun.
It'll be fun for sure.
We'll see. As the resident Josh Brolin
hater,
I guess you could say.
You're a hater. You're a big hater.
I'm still looking forward to Deadpool too.
Cool.
But not Cable as much.
And more Avengers news. It looks like Avengers Infinity War will indeed be the longest Marvel Studios installment yet. There are rumors, so take this with a grain of salt, but it looks like there was an AMC listing that has Infinity War at runtime of 2 hours and 36 minutes. That's including the credits.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a big old movie.
That's a hefty one.
2.5 hours. Let's hope it doesn't get BVS syndrome.
Yeah.
I don't think it will.
Or Last Jedi syndrome.
Yeah, Last Jedi could have been
A little shorter.
30 minutes shorter, yeah. But we'll see. I think in a movie this big, I don't know if it's going to feel long because there's so much to deal with. It's like there's not going to be any sequence where there's sitting in one place for a long time. It's like we got stuff in Wakanda, and we got New York, and we got blah, 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 and we got space, and it's like there's going to be a lot of shit going on that I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be very...
Do you think Korg is going to be in Avengers Infinity War?
Korg?
Yeah, Taika Waititi's rock guy.
Oh,
from Ragnarok.
I sure hope so. That'd be awesome.
I mean, that spaceship's going to get destroyed by Thanos, right?
We got a train running through the neighborhood here.
Yeah.
Should we pause it?
Sure.
All right, well, now that the Polar Express is done ripping through this house...
All aboard.
We were talking about Korg.
Yeah.
I would like to see him show up, but I don't know if he will.
You don't want a 70th character or whatever?
I think they got enough people to deal with.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Do you think Aunt May's going to be in it? Here we go. You ready? We're about to play a game.
Yeah.
Obscure Marvel character appearances. Okay, here we go. Korg. Just give me a yes or no answer.
No.
Okay, Aunt May.
No.
Pepper Potts.
Yes.
Happy Hogan.
Yes.
Betty Ross. Or are they done with that?
Wait, who's Betty Ross again?
That's the Hulk's girlfriend, but I guess now he's Black.
No. Liv Tyler?
Liv Tyler, yeah.
No. She's not in it.
Thunderbolt Ross.
The
general.
Yes.
With the mustache.
Yes.
Okay. Phil Coulson.
Yes.
You think so?
Yes.
God, I hope so.
Yep.
Okay.
That's going to be a big moment.
Yeah.
That's going to be the Avengers Assemble moment. It's going to be like he shows up.
Yeah.
He shows up with Nick Fury.
He's been alive for like 3 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, he'll come back for sure. That'll be a great moment.
I might get a little emotional.
Dude.
I love Phil Coulson.
Yeah.
They totally
awesome.
shafted him out of the MCU for that poor Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is making money. He's doing his thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Imagine how funny it would have been if he was in Thor Ragnarok, though.
That would have been funny.
Because he's in the first Thor, and he was already really funny.
Yeah, that's true.
They dropped the ball, is all I'm saying. He's probably in the top 5 performances in the MCU for me, honestly.
I think Infinity War is going to be, and a lot of podcasts are echoing this exact sentiment and people on the internet, but I think it's going to be a reference a minute. At least, especially the first hour. It's going to be like, remember this, remember this, remember this, remember this, remember this, remember this, remember this.
Yeah.
You like all this shit? Yeah? Okay. All right, now fight.
Yeah.
It's going to be, I think the reason why it's so long is that not everyone's going to be in that final fight, but they do have to pay off a few characters. I mean, they have to, like, they're going to have them all. There's going to be the one shot of everybody together, and it's going to be
I don't know if there's a
unreal.
camera big enough. How do you do that?
Did you see the photo they did for the 10th anniversary, though?
Yeah.
That was
cool.
Awesome. That video is really cool, too. It kind of made me cry a little bit.
Yeah. It's hard to believe that it's only been 10 years.
Yeah.
But also that it has been 10 years. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Good stuff, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, great stuff.
They're doing the good work there.
Yeah. I would like to also now move into my prediction for Infinity War.
Okay.
Because I've been kicking this around a lot, and I want to nail this down on how we think it's all going to go. And I have a very specific guess as to how they're going to do this part 1 and part 2 sort of thing. I don't think they're going to release the name of it until the movie comes out, obviously. And I think the movie's going to end with the sizzle reel for part 2.
Yeah.
Just like
the first Avenger.
The first Avenger ended with a trailer for the Avengers.
Yeah.
In the original Infinity War comic book storyline, the way that they save everybody is after everybody's died and killed in battle versus Thanos, they get the time stone and they're able to rewind and make it so that Thanos has never been here.
Yep.
This also makes it like a soft reboot. Okay. So I have 2 predictions of how it's going to go, and I'm leaning more towards the first one. The first is that I think it's going to be... We're not going to see Thor interact with people on Earth for very long. I think Thor is going to have a separate storyline where he finds the Guardians, and he knows that Thanos is coming to Earth, so he's got to go somewhere and do something to stop him. And I think that it's going to be cutting between Earth, Thanos, and then I think Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man's going to play a big part in this because
he's the tentpole going forward.
They're going to make him the tentpole.
Yeah.
And I think that in the end, when they do eventually get the time stone, they're able to distract Thanos or whatever. Thor's able to kind of like stop him for just 1 second to get the stone off the gauntlet or before he gives it to him. And I think they, like, as shit's crashing down and everyone's dying and you see, like, dead Iron Man on the ground and, like, Captain America's next to him and, like, Black Widow's, like, bleeding out. It's going to be, like, a somber, quiet moment and Thanos is, like, crushing down, getting angry. I think Peter Parker's going to go back, but not know how to use the stone. Obviously, he's just a kid. And the last shot of the movie is Peter Parker, what's his name?
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland walking around the streets of New York City, and he's like, where am I? What's going on? And then he's going to show up to like a TV playing in the side of a restaurant, and it's going to show like bank robbery was foiled today by the elusive Captain Marvel, who we've seen, doing this or whatever. And I think he's going to be a big part in Captain Marvel too. And that movie's going to not only be about her origin, but about Tom Holland getting back. And that's how they integrate her into the Avengers.
Wow. That's really cool.
Yeah. I'm really excited for that. If that happens.
I would like to buy a ticket to your movie, sir.
Yeah. It's
like Back to the Future where Tom Holland is Marty McFly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I can get down with that.
And then, because then you have like
and then Nick Fury's Doc Brown.
Yeah, because then you have like it's like the fish out of water thing.
Sure.
It's like modern day hip kid in the 90s.
Sure.
It's like how do you like deal with that scenario? And I think it's a really good idea, and I really hope that that's where they go with. My other thought is that they soft reboot it. Like at the end, they send back a few people and they Guardians it. Like they all hold the stone at the same time, and then they send them back. It's like nothing ever happened. Thanos is gone. Thanos is, wherever and like on a different part of the universe. And like one of the last shots is Tom Holland remembers everything, but
no one else does.
No one else does, yeah. Or like none of the big ones do. So then they go on just living their lives like nothing ever happened.
Interesting. And they're all alive.
Yeah. I would rather have the first one happen.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest, I don't really want to see them recast any of these classic characters.
Sure.
But we'll see.
That's a really good idea.
Do you have any thoughts and opinions?
Jeez, it seems like Kevin Feige's on the podcast right now. I think that I think you could be onto something really cool. We'll see how much they play with time. I know that that's a big deal. That's the only stone they don't have, or is it the Soul Stone?
The Soul Stone is the one that everyone says is in Black Panther, but
Doctor Strange has the Time Gem, right? The Soul Stone is somewhere
the
in
Eye of Agamotto.
Possibly the Vibranium Mound is got the Soul Stone in there.
I thought it was going to be the flowers.
Yeah. It's possible.
But I don't know. I mean, Black Panther had literally almost nothing to do with anything in the MCU.
Yeah, they don't want to mess around with that.
Sure. So
we'll see. I agree with you. I think that they will do a good job over the course of these two movies of ushering out the original cast in a good way and ushering in the importance of Spider-Man, Captain Marvel, and Black Panther, because I think that's going to be your trinity going forward.
Yeah.
Which I would be totally down to watch a movie where those three people hang out.
Yeah.
That sounds boss.
And don't forget about Doctor Strange is going to be a part of that clan.
Yeah, yeah.
So is Ant-Man, for better or for worse. Hopefully Wasp is good. But yeah.
Do you think that... Okay, I have one question for you. Do you think of the big six, which... If you could pick two that you realistically think will be in more movies after both of these Infinity War movies, which two do you think would be in more movies?
Thor and Black Widow.
That's what I was going to go with. I was also going to say Black Widow or the Hulk.
The Hulk... the curious thing is that like the Hulk is... Yeah.
Because you throw him as a supporting character and everything.
Yeah. I don't think Bruce Banner
I think you
die.
need to make a Black Widow movie. So hopefully that they give her that justice. I think it's well-deserved. She's been such a strong... performance in all those movies, maybe a little sans Iron Man 2, but I think it's well deserved at this point. So we'll see going forward. I'm excited. I like the idea of, ending this nice 10-year run, but also ushering in a new 10-year run with characters that are just as interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see. I would really like Thor to stick around. I think the Ragnarok just made me more excited to want to see more stuff like that and to see him kind of do all these crazy wacky adventures. And the possibility that there could be a fourth Thor movie where they could bring Star-Lord in or like Rocket Raccoon, give me that, dude. Like, you have my money. That sounds so cool. Like a Ragnarok style movie with like him, Loki, the Hulk, Valkyrie, and like Groot or something. I don't know.
They got to give Taika Waititi more.
Yeah, just keep going cosmic with it. I think that's a good idea, and I think not that this would happen, but if Kevin Feige ever does leave as like the quote unquote showrunner, I think you give it to James Gunn because I think he knows the characters just as well in terms of expanding to the weird stuff, and he's played Marvel ball for a long enough time, or the Russo brothers. Mm-hmm. And I think it'll be one of those options in terms of that, or Favreau, but I doubt it.
I think the Russo bros are already their number one pick because they've made the highest grossing ones.
Without the Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they ain't getting Whedon.
Well, he's a DC player now.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, kind of.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I did want to bring this up that I don't know if I'm sure you saw, all the news with Kevin Smith, surviving a heart attack.
I'm very glad to hear that he's doing okay. I was really upset. He is very much an important celebrity to me.
Yeah.
Both with his films and comic book writing and podcasts and stuff. Is scary. Health stuff is terrifying.
Yeah. He's only 47.
Yeah.
Which is...
He was very unhealthy, though.
Yeah.
But he's lost, 85 pounds in, the past 2 years, so hopefully he continues to get more healthy to have some more longevity.
Yeah. So, no really news about anything else. I'm sure, he's doing progress with, medicinal stuff, but also I'm sure they're going to put him on some sort of plan.
He's talked about it on some podcasts. He's changing his diet even a little more, and he's having a regular cardiology appointment now just to double check stuff.
Yeah. So, get better, Kevin Smith.
Yeah. We appreciate you.
Yeah. Or we'll come to we'll come to your nutritionist and we'll do a podcast with you.
Yeah.
Just call us up. We touched on this last night on the Forgotten Show, but Mark Hamill received his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Congratulations,
Yay, Mark. Good job, Mark.
Yeah.
He did it, Mark.
Well deserved.
Yeah. How long is that road?
Huge. Sunset Boulevard?
Yeah.
Massive.
Massive.
Doesn't the Walk of Fame wrap around other blocks too now?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you hate it if you got your Star Walk of Fame and it was outside,
city limits?
I was going to say, Denny's or something.
Yeah, I would. Because
It's have you seen John Parker's Star of Walk of Fame?
If it was outside on IHOP, I'd be
a little happier.
But it was the Denny's.
Yeah, Grand Slam. No, thank you.
Although, what's it? Something over my hammy, eggs over my hammy, or
Sunset
whatever.
over my hammy.
Sunset over my hammy. That Denny's meal, it's good stuff.
Patty Jenkins confirmed Kristen Wiig as Wonder Woman villain Cheetah.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit on
Yeah.
the last episode. We don't have to go into as much depth because we were a little sauced and arguing. I think it's a good casting choice. I think we both agree that Kristen Wiig is awesome. I think what you had mentioned before was you're just expressing concerns about how you think Wonder Woman could potentially be a one and done type of, in terms of success.
I am just not in terms of success. Gal Gadot sells,
Critical success.
Yeah,
is what I mean.
Critical success. I am just shocked that they're doubling down on the cinematic universe. I mean, I know that they've come out and said, these movies are not going to be necessarily connected, but, in some ways that's worse. And then they're doubling down on the fact that they're going to have these villains, and they're still setting up a Legion of Doom. I'm more just frustrated with the fact that it's I want to wake up tomorrow morning and the news headline I see is, whatever his name is, the dude,
Jake Gyllenhaal?
No, the guy that's running all the DC stuff through Warner Brothers says, you know what, we've tried, we understand that, people love these movies, a lot of people don't, but we were just happy to make something that, spoke to a good group of fans. This is our upcoming slate. Wonder Woman 2 will be the first movie of this slate. We have Shazam coming, we have Aquaman coming, and then we're going to do another Justice League in 5 years.
Sure.
Just start again. Start over. Try it again. You missed it bad. Try again.
They need to get their Batman figured out. That's the problem.
And
because in a way you can have Wonder Woman be your Tony Stark, if you will, of your cinematic universe. I think she's as charismatic and interesting enough to do that, but you do need to fix your Batman problem. Because it's been kind of leaked at this point. I don't know if you heard this, but when Matt Reeves was in talks to do a Batman trilogy, and they stalemated for a little bit, and he left, and then they renegotiated, and then they got him to sign. The reason why he left the first time is because he told him he didn't want Ben Affleck to be Batman, and they were very fixated on the fact they're no, Ben wants to be here, and we want Ben, and and then he left, and he's I don't want to have Batman be Ben Affleck. I want a younger person so I could tell the story that I want to tell, or even, and maybe not necessarily younger, but just maybe better. And then they were able to come up with something, but no one knows what it was that they were able to land on. So we'll see. I think there's like a 98% chance that it's a recasting, though. It's got to be.
I think, yeah, there's no way to go forward with Ben Affleck. He wants out. It's clear. Writing's on the walls. Has been since BVS. Since the post-release of that stuff was panned, and it's been a critical nightmare for DC ever since.
Yeah.
It's been 3 or 4 years of nightmares in terms of critical.
Besides Wonder Woman.
Besides Wonder Woman, but that's like the only one.
Yeah.
And Ben Affleck had nothing to do with that.
Good point.
So, in line with those, with the Matt Reeves stuff, there were rumors circulating last week that Matt Reeves is planning to leave the Batman.
Oh, that's interesting. We were just talking about that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, they didn't fix it then.
Well, during one of his recent YouTube videos, John Campea indicated that there's some bad DC news on the way. Fans quickly scrambled to try and figure out what that might be, and the most logical conclusion was that writer and director Matt Reeves might walk away from the Batman. Hours later, The Wrap ran a story saying that wasn't the case. A pretty bizarre move considering the fact that Campea never actually said that's what he was referring to, meaning the site made up a rumor in order to debunk it. But the rumor has now been shrugged off by a far more reliable source in the form of Reeves himself. So Reeves tweeted, it ain't so, with a Batman symbol. But I just thought that was funny that it's just like...
They can't catch a break.
Yeah, it's like the narrative surrounding this whole DCEU thing is just...
A nightmare.
Yep. Like, oh, great, we got Matt Reeves. He did Planet Apes. This will be great. Waiting wants to leave off. God damn it. What are we going to do? So, yeah. It is a...
At least we got Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay. They're doing like Killing Joke, right?
It's what it certainly seems. The article states... Oh, my God. That was disgusting.
Zach is slowly dying.
I'm dying inside, everybody. Yeah. I'm so hungover. This is pain. Speaking is pain.
You got it. Come on. You can do it. Come on.
I gotta do it for Cal. Cal said high energy. The Joker origin film, potentially starring Joaquin Phoenix, has something in common with The Killing Joke.
Well, that's because that's the Joker's origin story.
It's just such a disaster. Joaquin Phoenix hasn't signed the dotted line yet to star in director Todd Phillips and Martin Scorsese's planned origin film for the Joker. It's so stupid. They're gonna ruin this. The Wrap is reporting that the film's plot is similar in tone to Scorsese's 1982 film King of Comedy, which starred Robert De Niro as a down-on-his-luck comedian who can't find work. The site is reporting that the Joker pick will also portray Gotham's clown prince of crime as, quote, a failed 1980s comedian who becomes the clown prince of crime after bombing with audiences. End quote. So yeah, obviously that's, parallels heavily to Killing Joke.
All jokes aside, do you think Joaquin Phoenix could be a good Joker?
I think yes.
I think he could too.
I don't think he'll sign.
No.
I think that rumor is...
I would hope he could be in the Matt Reeves Batman stuff, not this stupid Scorsese side hoe.
Why are they doing this movie, John?
I don't think it's going to happen.
Why are they doing it? You don't think the movie's going to happen? I think it... I mean, the ball's already rolling. They've got 2 big-name directors attached to the project, and they're, putting out synopses. You don't do that unless you actually have an agreement signed to make the film.
Yeah, okay.
It's going to happen. It's just a terrible fucking idea. Yeah. Excuse my profanity.
Profanity?
Yeah.
You know who I think could also be a good Joker? This is kind of crazy. Tom Hardy. What do you think?
As a Joker? Yeah, I mean, for sure. I want Tom Hardy back in the Batman universe in some...
I think he's got range. I think he would be a better Joker than a Bane.
He was so awesome as Bane.
Yeah, it wasn't really... It was like a faux Bane, but yeah, it was cool.
Doesn't matter, man. It was Chris Nolan. Those movies were good. That's all I cared about.
They were good. That's true.
I did not care that they were, a little bit taking liberties with Batman.
Yeah, besides the Joker, who's your favorite character / performance in those...
In all of them?
In those Nolan movies.
Oh, man. I like Raish.
Oh, Liam Neeson.
Yeah,
okay. I have to go with the Gary Oldman.
Oh,
I think he was
you're right.
By far the best Jim Gordon I've ever seen, ever.
Yeah,
in any form of Batman media.
And then they took J.K. Simmons and...
So good. Gary Oldman was amazing. I might watch The Dark Knight tonight. Just thinking about that's getting me all excited.
We talked about this last night too, but this is a topic that needs bringing back up.
Yeah.
Is Joss Whedon has exited Batgirl.
Yeah, and I brought up last night the fact that I think it's because he's saying that he couldn't come up with a story, but I think it's more of he's stepping aside for a female director.
Yeah. That does make total sense. The article is eyeing Patty Jenkins.
Yeah, that makes the most sense.
But there's also talk about Zack Snyder coming in to direct Batgirl.
I thought he got fired from Justice League. Did you hear about that?
Zack Snyder?
Did you hear about this? He actually. So the rumor is that there's a guy who got let go from his job, and he's like, "Well, since I'm fired, I'm just going to release all these news that I wasn't able to." And way back in March, when it said that he was stepping down, it was actually the fact that he got fired because of the family tragedy. He wasn't able to perform at the workplace, which is sad and justified. But Warner Brothers is like, "Listen, we need to get this movie done." So they fired him and had Joss Whedon take over. It wasn't as graceful, I think, of a transition. So I don't think he's going to be involved in DC anymore. I think the last thing you'll see from Zack Snyder is a producing credit in Aquaman because he introduced Jason Momoa and BVS. I think it's the last thing.
Interesting. I am just hearing this information for the first time, and it looks like it's substantiated. Mm-hmm. Polygon is backing it up, but they're saying that he was fired months before he publicly shared he was no longer part of the project. Which means, if that's the case, that there was more Whedon in Justice League than we originally thought, which is disappointing.
Yeah.
Like, there was more Whedon than Snyder in Justice League, and that's what you gave us?
Yep.
It's so weird, man.
I think the only parts that are Zack Snyder that are in the cut that we saw is the opening montage with, like, that really bad song, and it's, like, depressing, and you got the hobo with the cardboard sign that says, like...
I hate that opening.
That says, like, I tried, you know... I think that's a Zack Snyder piece. And I also think that might be it.
That might be it?
Honestly, yeah.
No, I feel a lot of Zack Snyder in the... Zack Snyder. I get a lot of Zack Snyder in the opening with Batman thing where they...
With the parademon?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't make any sense. He lets... Okay... Side note, if you haven't seen Justice League, he stops this criminal to use him as bait to track a parademon down, catches the parademon kills itself, and then Batman lets the criminal go. He just runs away. And, like, the guy, like, acts like he knows Batman personally, because he's like, what was that, Batman? And he's like, oh, it just smells fear. You know, and he's like, it's because Superman's gone, isn't it? And he's just like, Batman goes and fucks off, and then the guy's just like, he can just walk away with everything that he stole. Do better. That's horrible.
Yeah.
Batman should have at least tied him up or something, or called Alfred to get Robin down there to tie him up. Or, like, you're a horrible Batman. You're just letting all these crooks in Gotham run away. I fucking hate that, dude.
Yeah, dude, the movie sucks.
I'm getting sick and tired of it.
It sucks. It really does suck. Yeah, it's terrible. And it's like the anatomy of the scene videos, where it's like they'll have a director come down and sit down and discuss like why a scene is laid out a certain way. I would love to hear them explain that scene.
It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. It's like why they chose that to set up the parademons is like beyond me.
The fact that they smell fear.
Well, just like that's how they introduce it.
It was supposed to be like the New 52 Justice League opening, which has Batman fighting a parademon in Gotham, which was done better. It was a Jeff Johns Jim Lee comic book. It's cool. It's really cool. And then Green Lantern shows up and they fight a parademon, but obviously they didn't have the Green Lantern in this movie. They have one in that montage, but yeah, that's... Anyway, moving on. I don't want to be on this soapbox anymore.
Yeah. We discussed Venom last night.
We did, yeah.
The trailer and the poster. Give me a quick synopsis. Like, how do you feel? Because you were super negative on the movie.
It's a bad trailer.
It is a bad trailer.
I'm still negative on the movie, but you brought up an interesting point to me that I hadn't thought about, which was that this movie is more character-driven and less focusing on, because it's low budget, and less focusing on the big set piece CGI stuff with the Venom suit. But I countered with the fact that it's like Logan is the low budget thing, but you would hate Logan if he didn't pop his claws at all. So we'll see. Maybe they'll come out with another trailer that'll sway my opinion once I see the Venom suit. But right now, it just looks like a Bourne Identity movie.
Yeah, it kind of it does look like Bourne,
like black goo in a box.
Yeah. My thoughts are as such. I think this is a good idea. I think my big worry is that there seems to be no Marvel fingerprints on this trailer. Like, I get a very Sony vibe.
Well, it's all Sony, right? They just get to use Tom Holland.
We're not sure what the stipulations are.
Okay.
And my hope was that they were doing this movie because they know that Venom is has the potential to be the best villain for Marvel to fight. For anybody to fight, for Spider-Man. If they're setting Spider-Man up to be this new leader of the Avengers, or not leader, but this new sort of tentpole release, there's going to be a Homecoming, a Prom, and an After Prom. There's going to be 3 of those movies or whatever.
Winter Formal.
I was really hoping that this movie would be a 2-hour-long setup for a villain for Spider-Man to fight in his next movie.
Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, but this movie, it doesn't have that Marvel splash screen at the beginning. That worries me more than anything else. The trailer being bad, I think, is just a symptom of them releasing it after just finishing the project. They had said that they had wrapped principal photography, and then they released the trailer a month later. So this is probably all that was done.
Yeah.
Of course, no Venom stuff. It's that stuff's the most expensive. You have to CGI an entire body and for multiple scenes. It's I also think that the anger on the internet for them not showing Venom is kind of stupid.
Petty. It's a little petty. It's a little petty.
Yeah, but
I'll admit I'll cop to being a little petty about some of this stuff.
Sure,
for sure.
I mean, we're nerds.
We're nerds.
That's
we complain about shit.
But how cool is that moment going to be if they don't show him at all in any of the trailers, and you get the first look of Venom, and comes out and he looks badass?
He would have to look really cool.
I think he's going to look
because I talked about this last night. I think it sucks that they're covering the Venom suit covers up a person so that you can't tell who it is. Tom Hardy is one of the coolest and best actors on the planet, and when he's in the Venom suit, you're not going to be able to see him emote with his face the way that he does really well. So we'll see.
Do you think they're going to do the whole thing like Topher Grace, though, where it's
to peel his face back?
Yeah.
God, I hope not. That is horrible. Hey, Parker. My spider senses are tingling, if you know what I'm talking about.
God, I hated Topher Grace in that.
Yeah, he was the worst part. Hey, shout out to Sandman, though.
Shout out to Sandman. Great.
Thomas Hayden Church, get that guy back.
Yeah, seriously. We won't linger on this point too long. Brad Pitt, Leo DiCaprio to star in Quentin Tarantino's Sharon Tate drama.
It's called Once Upon a Time.
It's called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Hopefully this is really good. I'm kind of excited. He's got all of his big guns. Sam Jackson will probably be in there.
Definitely.
The usual guys too. Walter Goggins, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, like you said it the last time when we were talking about this, it's going to be a dark La La Land, and I think it's going to be a commentary on the industry as well as like a celebration of it. And who better to get than two of the biggest stars ever?
Yeah. That he's worked very well with. If you think about their performances in their respective Tarantino movies, Leo as Calvin Candy, amazing. And then Brad Pitt in Inglourious Bastards is also really good.
Oh, yeah.
It's so funny.
Yeah. So I really can't tell you how excited I am. This is great news. Can't wait.
You know who would be a really good Charles Manson? I just thought of this.
Who?
Christoph Waltz.
He'll be in it.
What if he's Manson?
I think it's going to be...
I'm going to murder Sharon Tate.
Sharon Tate.
Sharon Tate.
I love how he talks. I think it's going to be Tom Cruise. I think Tom Cruise is going to be Manson.
He's scarily very much like Manson. Yeah. That's a good casting.
From Enemy, John Williams to quit scoring Star Wars films
after 9. Hey, give the guy a break. Yeah.
Yeah, he scored 9 Star Wars films to date. The original Star Wars, its original sequels, plus Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. He handed the reins over in 2016 to Michael Giacchino, while John Powell will score this year's solo Star Wars story. Do you know of anything else that John Powell has scored?
Yeah, actually I do. X-Men, like the original X-Men. How to Train Your Dragon.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I thought the soundtrack in Rogue One left a little bit to be desired.
He also had like 2 weeks to do it.
That's
yeah.
what.
Yeah, I like Giacchino quite a bit. His stuff in Lost and a lot of the Disney movies are really strong. So
his Disney movies.
I think if you give him another chance on a different anthology movie where he has time, he could be really good because he is a good composer.
Yeah.
Give it to Junkie XL.
Oh my god.
What would make
DC
me really,
just makes me depressed.
What would make me really happy is if they could get like Hans Zimmer, but I don't think he wants to do genre films anymore.
Yeah. How would you like to play Pokemon Go but with dinosaurs?
Don't care.
Okay. Well, Jurassic World Alive is coming for those of you that do care to smartphones and mobile phones, and it looks like trash. Yeah, it's so you can walk around and catch dinosaurs or fight them or whatever. If you have no life,
you can put your hand out and talk to velociraptors or whatever.
I would like to now begin the Facebook group invite for the Jurassic World Alive bar crawl that I'll be hosting. We're gonna walk all around downtown Cincinnati and hunt dinosaurs. So, join in.
Yay!
They're alive in our world.
Smile on your face, big disgrace. Zach's got a hangover. It's really disgraceful. Didn't rhyme. Sorry.
That's okay. So I'm very ill, everybody. I'm trying to cure myself as best as I can.
He's the illest, trillest, magillest.
Yeah. So I am sorry if my eloquency takes a bit of a tumble, but. Nevertheless, we proceed.
The show must go on.
The show must go on. Specifically, the show that Jon Favreau is going to executive produce and write for Star Wars.
Nice transition there.
Yeah, nice king of segues here.
Yep.
Lucasfilm announced that Jon Favreau has signed on to produce and write a live-action Star Wars series for Disney's new to direct-to-consumer platform. Favreau is no stranger to Star Wars, having played roles in both the Clone Wars animated series and the upcoming Solo: A Star Wars Story, which I had no idea.
What? I didn't know that either. Huh.
Having played roles in both, so I guess he's in Solo. But yeah, so it's not movies.
It's a show.
It's like a Netflix style show that's going to be on Disney's streaming platform.
You know what it's going to be?
What?
It's going to be a Lando show with Donald Glover. Now that I know that he's in Solo.
They've announced it?
No, but I think it's going to be a Lando television show.
No way.
With Donald Glover, yeah.
I don't think so.
I think so. About him getting into Bespin. It's going to bridge the gap between Solo and Empire Strikes Back.
If that's true, that's pretty cool.
Him meeting Lobot, played by Bruce Willis. Stuff like that.
Lobot, played by Bruce Willis.
I just have a very strong inkling, and it just kind of hit me.
Okay.
Donald Glover has a really good presence on television with Atlanta, which I've heard is fantastic. So I think they'll do some type of suave gambler television show.
Do you think they get Emilia Clarke or?
I think you'd have Donald Glover, whoever this robot is that is like his co-pilot, could potentially be in it. You could potentially have an Emilia Clarke appearance depending on what her character's fate is. Even Woody Harrelson. It all kind of, I think, sways on which of those characters pans out if you bring them in. But yeah, I think Lando would be a safe bet.
Yeah, Yeah, I'm curious to know how the fan reception is going to be to these Han Solo characters.
Yeah, I think in terms of characters that Jon Favreau would be good with handling, Lando's a possibility just because of the comedy chops that Jon Favreau does have from time to time.
Good idea.
Yeah.
We shall see. But in the movie world, Game of Thrones creators David Benioff and D.B. Weiss to write and produce a new series of Star Wars films. You excited?
I am. I think these guys are very smart. They're good writing. They're good at creating drama. But we'll see in terms of what it holds, if it's like potentially as disconnected as whatever Rian Johnson's working on. Or...
Yeah. Yeah, Knights of the Old Republic could be,
starring Kit Harington.
Yeah. I bet we see a few Game of Thrones
I think
people.
I think it'd be cool to get Sean Bean in Star Wars.
Oh, yes.
Sean Bean would be really cool. Darth Revan.
That was such a good idea. Sean Bean in Star Wars. Oh.
That just blew his mind. You guys can't
I'm
see
just thinking about how cool that would be.
Yeah.
Just get all the people from Lord of the Rings, man. Bring Orlando Bloom back into Star Wars.
I think Viggo Mortensen needs to be in more stuff anyway, so I'm down to have him in it. And we know Sean Astin is making a resurgence as an actor, so you could give him something to do. It's not a bad idea.
Cool.
But I definitely think you have a crossover with Game of Thrones actors on some capacity. We'll see which ones they go with, but yeah.
Here's a follow-up question. Do you think, how are they going to split these up? Like, do you think it's going to be like Rian Johnson's going to get one episode, and then these guys are going to do one the next year, and then Rian Johnson gets a new one, and then these guys get a new one? Do you think it's going to be like
every other year?
Every other year?
I think after episode 9, because they haven't announced the third anthology film, I think they're realizing that, fatigue was very much evident based off of The Last Jedi and potentially Solo. So I think after that, they're going to go back into the way that it used to be, where a Star Wars movie came out like every 3 years. I think it'll be more like that. Yeah.
I think also we have to keep in mind that this makes a very conscious decision, this article, to say a new series of Star Wars films, whereas Rian Johnson's announcement was very specific about trilogy.
Yeah. So like these guys could be doing anthology stories.
Yeah.
Like they might not be called a Star Wars story, but with Game of Thrones, you know that they're good at doing multiple characters at one time and separate storylines. So we'll see. I don't know. Rian Johnson's thing is very much, I think, going to be a 3-part story, whether or not he directs all of them, but it's a 3-part story that he's come up with.
I think so too. It'd be interesting.
Yeah. I would like to see... There's some characters that I want to see fleshed out, but I would like to see Rian Johnson and the Benioff and Weiss crew tackling new ground. Like Old Republic, I think counts as a new ground because it's only been a video game and a comic and book series, but like on-screen film, cover something a little new that hasn't been touched.
I think that's their goal. I think they're going to do something different with Star Wars, and depending on what happens with 9, I think I don't think either of them are really going to have any strong connection. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited. I think Star Wars could use some freshness. But we'll see.
Keep it fresh.
All right, Zach update. I'm dying.
Still?
And, pain is everywhere.
Right.
Kids, just listen to that. Pain's everywhere.
You want to fast track this part?
The last news thing is that Switch is getting Smash. Smash Bros. Coming to Switch. We got the trailer.
Trailer's cool.
Trailer's cool. No release date, just 2018, which is surprising. I personally think it's going to be like a remastered Wii U with a few new characters and a few new maps, but it's I think it would have been stupid for them to do what they did with the Wii U, which was like it took 4 years of that console to get a Smash on it. Like, you need one right away.
Yeah.
You need a party game like that right away. Like, you had Mario Kart, great. Now give a Smash.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited. That's a absolute day one purchase for me. Holy cow! My insides. All right, hit comic books. Talk.
Yeah, real
Shop
fast.
talk.
Real fast comic
No. Don't take your time. I'm just going to lay my head down, and you talk, and I'll listen.
Okay.
But I'm not asleep, and I'm not paying attention.
So we haven't had a comic shop talk in a while.
Yeah.
But things that I have been reading have been The Doomsday Clock, which is really good. Jeff Johns and Gary Frank, the sequel to Watchmen, with adding the DC characters. It's awesome. If you haven't checked it out, please do so. DC Metal is pretty sweet. Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo.
Okay.
However, it is dragging, and it seems a little more like they're taking on more than they can chew. So I would say I would give that like a 3.5 out of 5 as of right now. Whereas Doomsday Clock is very strong. Marvel is...
So, welcome back.
I was about to talk about how Marvel is revamping their line of titles. They have way too many titles right now, and they lost Brian Michael Bendis to DC, which I'll get to in a little bit. So they're revamping, and this includes having a new flagship title that is a reboot of the Avengers that has a lot of the popular characters returning, including the big three of Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America on an Avengers team together for the first time since like the 90s. Which is a big deal. It's going to be written by Jason Aaron, who's doing Thor right now. He's been doing a really good, critically acclaimed run on that. So that'll be taking place around the summer, is that revampingness of all that.
When was the last time the Avengers had a comic book series that was like
really good?
Or like running?
They have one right now.
Oh.
It's just not, it doesn't sell because it's like a weird team. It hasn't been a, really big title since they did the Ultimate Universe in like the early 2000s.
Sure. Which
is what the first Avengers is heavily based on, is the Ultimates run. But anyway, so that's the stuff for Marvel. DC, however, is just continuing to do a really good job of just coming up with really smart ideas and creative things. And they got one of the best writers to take the place of, the lack of Jeff Johns, since he's busy helping the film universe. And they got Brian Michael Bendis, who was writing like 9 titles at Marvel. And they gave him arguably one of the most popular characters ever, which is Superman. So on April 18th, Action Comics 1000 will come out. It's the 80th anniversary of the character of Superman. And in that book...
Wow.
Which is going to be priced around $8, there's going to be, I want to say there's like 5 or 6 smaller comic stories in there, with a lot of legacy writers on Superman, as well as the first story written by Brian Michael Bendis that is going to set up the stuff that he works on later in the summer. So that's a really big deal. They're going to have that. It's going to have a lot of artists, a lot of writers. It's going to be a really good book. I'm looking forward to that. And then a couple weeks after that, DC is dropping a book, and there's a picture of the cover, called DC Nation Zero. And this is where they're going to start a new group of stories where they're going to revamp some of their titles. Not all of them, but some of them. And the cool part about this is DC Nation Zero is priced at 25 cents. So they're going back to a really old price point for this one book as kind of like a cool anniversary thing. It's going to have 3 stories in it, as you could see for that cover. The first story is a continuation of setting up Brian Michael Bendis' Superman story. The prelude to Scott Snyder's Justice League story called No Justice, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And then a story written by Batman scribe Tom King about the Joker discovering that Batman and Selena Kyle are engaged. And that's going to set up a lot of stories that will, get the ball rolling for stuff later. Brian Michael Bendis will be doing a 6-issue story called Man of Steel to start out his run, which is going to introduce a new Superman villain. It's going to ripple into the Superman universe, and then he will write both Action Comics and Superman, which will go back to being on a monthly basis as opposed to bi-monthly. So they're going back to once a month, which is probably safer in terms of quality. And then Scott Snyder is doing this No Justice run, which is a 4-part thing in like May or June that sets up him taking over the Justice League title, which I think is really good because Justice League sells like crap right now. But this No Justice story is 4 issues, and it's about this entity coming to the DC universe, and 4 different Justice League teams are formed. It's kind of like Pokemon Go. There's Team Wisdom, Team Wonder, Team Entropy, and Team Mystery. So there's 4 different Justice League teams they're led by Wisdom is led by Harley Quinn, Wonder is led by Wonder Woman, Entropy is led by Batman, and Mystery is led by Superman. And then there's a lot of supporting characters. So it's going to include a lot of stuff and then set up what becomes of the Justice League, but that's really all we know about that. So a lot of interesting stuff coming down the pipe in terms of revamping universes and comics, as well as...
Is this Lobo on the cover there?
Yeah, Batman's Justice League team has Batman, Deathstroke, Beast Boy, Cyborg, and Lobo.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Wonder Woman's team, I think, is going to be the one that I enjoy the most. It's Wonder Woman, Dr. Fate, Raven, Zatanna, and the Demon. So she's got a really cool mystical team, which I'm pretty jazzed about. But yeah, so there's some cool stuff to look forward to. And Doomsday Clock is a 12-issue run, the same way that Watchmen was, and we're only in issue 3. So that's going to take a whole another year before that story's wrapped up.
Wow.
But yeah, so get out to your local comic shop as always. Please support them. I've found a good one up here in Cuyahoga Falls. Shout out to JC Comic and Cards. But yeah, they're doing some good work. So if you like DC characters and you don't like the way their movies are going, their comics are very good right now. So you can at least have that saving grace. But
what I'm going to have you do is, I've just made a snap decision.
Okay.
I'm leaving on a plane ride tomorrow to go home to Colorado and visit some family. And I've been thinking about whether or not I should take my Switch or my computer or what should I bring to, just hang on to at the airport and just for downtime. I'm going to have you write down a few comics for me.
Okay.
And I'm going to stop at the comic shop that's down the street from... There's one in Cincinnati that I know that I pass in Pleasant Ridge. And I'm going to go pick some comics up.
Cool. They're good plain reads. If you have a tablet, you can also buy them digitally.
I like physical.
I do too.
So...
But there's some people that don't.
Yeah.
But yeah, physical's the way to go. I go every week to pick up mine. Another quick plug is Image Comics has 2 titles that I picked up with you the other day when we went. One is Gideon Falls, which I'm very excited about. I don't know anything about it, but the art looks beautiful, and the writer did a good job with Logan. And then the writer of Invincible and The Walking Dead, Robert Kirkman, is starting a new book called Oblivion Song. So if you're interested in... Image does a good job of having these other stories. So, like, if you like comics, but you're a little flooded with superhero media right now because of the movies, there's still some really good titles coming out that are brand new that you could totally just jump in right now and check them out. I don't have a review on them because I haven't had time to read them this weekend, but maybe next time I'll be able to talk more about them.
Great.
Yeah, but that's all I have for Comic Shop Talk. It's just
that was
a
hefty one.
Yeah, it's a lot of getting caught up on some big news titles. The Bendis one was shocking when they announced it, but I'm very excited because Superman, I think I've talked to you since they did Rebirth. Like, I keep reading Superman, but nothing's really wowed me. I think he has the potential to do something really cool because I think he's a great writer. So we'll see. But yeah, and if you definitely want to get a really good anniversary book, April 18th, Action Comics 1000. It's going to be it's a big deal.
All right.
It's a really big deal.
I'm going to have
80
John...
years. For a character.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. I mean, isn't the Superman symbol like the second or third most recognizable symbol in the world?
I think so, yeah.
Something like that.
He's been around for a long time.
But it's awesome, man. What an achievement.
Yeah.
And
a big thank you and plug to all the people that have worked on that character over 80 years. I think, he's one of the most beloved fictional characters in the world. Like you said, very widely recognized, but as we've come to find out, the S is, actually a symbol of hope on the insignia from Krypton. I think he's a character that, when handled properly, is a great escape in all forms of media for people to dive in and really just have a good time. Like when you watch, whether you like Man of Steel or not, I do. That's a really good movie. And then, you can also watch a completely different tonal shift and watch the Christopher Reeve one. And
sure.
He's just, he's a very powerful, important character.
Agreed.
And, yeah. So, yeah, check all that shit out.
Oh, yeah.
But I think we're about wrapped up here.
I think we're wrapped up. I don't have an at-dat topic.
I don't have
I'm
one
going to be
either.
totally honest with you. I don't have the energy.
We had a lot of them.
spent.
Our at-dat topic is to drink water.
Oh, yeah. Drink water. Hydrate, kids.
But anyway, if you like the show, please check out our YouTube page, radiovania.com. Hit that red subscribe button to help us, potentially increase, the content and or the quality of the show. You can read it. You can email us at radiovania@gmail.com. Send us any questions, comments, concerns, stuff like that.
Has Connor emailed us recently?
I don't know.
Let me check the inbox.
That's okay. Please go check out The Few of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
We filmed that over New Year's, and it is, quality-wise, it's a vast improvement on the first one. It's also a lot longer, but you can check out me and Michael making a fool out of ourselves, but trying to think that we're really cool, dramatic actors. Just keep giving the support. We really enjoy doing the show. It's a fun time. We're sorry that we can't do it more frequently, but given the way we are right now, we take any chance we can get. So we thank you guys for those that support it.
Yeah.
And I think that's about all we have in us today.
So if you've made it this far, God bless you.
This is John Parker, and this is Zach Rotello.
Yeah.
And we'll talk to you guys again very soon.
See you soon.